Hey there, CJ Math students. So today I'm going to go ahead and walk you through notes 2.17. Remember, you have a test on Thursday, so that means I'll be collecting your binder. So make sure all these notes are fully completed. So today's objective, student will be able to, that's what SWBAT stands for, use order of operations to evaluate expressions. So let's play with it. There are about 2,000 plants in each of the 50 stars on this flag. So this is a flag here made up of plants. There are 64,100 plants in each of the 7 short stripes, 106,700 plants in each of the 6 long stripes, and the blue region contains 198,900 plants. What is your estimate for how many plants there are in total? Maybe by the end of class I will actually give you the answer to this. But the point of giving you a problem with these gigantic numbers is that we could get a whole bunch of different totals if math didn't have specific rules about how to do specific order of operations. So whether that meant adding or subtracting first, then multiplying, dividing, and then adding, subtracting. The good news is that we do have a specific order of operations, and so we will go ahead and use that today, and then we should all get to the same answer. So go over to our vocabulary section. Order of operations, you can remember it by the acronym of PEMDAS. Parentheses or grouping symbols, exponents, then multiplication or division. These guys can go either or. They go whichever comes first, left to right, and then addition and subtraction. So again, these can go either or, whichever comes first from left to right. So always do parentheses first. All right, so let's just go ahead and put that down. Always do parentheses first. Then look for exponents. Then multiply / divide, whichever comes first. That does not mean you always multiply first. If there's division and it comes before multiplication, as I read it left to right, I can divide. And then, in fact, I'm going to write this as subtract or add, because I don't want you thinking that you always add first, right? All right, so we have some level 1 problems here, level 2, and then the back is kind of level 3. So level 1. Now, first thing we need to remember is our integer rules. So it's let's not put that. Let's put for addition and subtraction, it's DSSL and SSAK. And then for multiplication and division, it's SSP and DSN. Different signs negative, same signs positive. Different signs subtract larger, same signs add key. All right, so let's scan this problem here. Let's go ahead and say plus a negative to that. And then we're going to go ahead and say, all right, do parentheses first. Well, the key thing is let's write this out. And I'm going to write it down just like this. Notice how M and D and A and S are on the same level. That's trying to indicate that, hey, you do whichever comes first, left to right. Now, a lot of you probably want to do 10 plus negative 4, negative 10 plus negative 4 to start off. Can't do that, right? You look for parentheses. Are these parentheses? No, these are just saying, hey, I'm negative. Exponents? No. So we don't have any of those. We don't have any of those. Now I'm looking for multiplication or division. I have division. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2, so I have to do that first. I don't have any more left, so I literally bring down what's left. So negative 10 plus negative 2, and now I add because that's the only thing I have, and this was SSAK, so I get negative 12 is my answer. You're going to have to do a lot of flipping back and forth between the rules. All right, number 3. So I look at PEMDAS. And look, do I have parentheses? Actually, this time I do have parentheses, these two guys inside this parentheses. So negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 7. Those aren't parentheses. That's just saying, hey, I'm negative. So now I look for exponents. I don't have it. I look for multiply. I do. Negative 1 times 7. That equals positive 7. Why? Because I had 2 negatives. All right? And then I'm done. 2 and 4 you guys will do on your own after the notes video is over with. So 11 2. Go ahead, write down PEMDAS. All right, so let's start off. Do I have parentheses? No, I don't. Do I have exponents? Yes, I do. What does an exponent mean? It means this negative 1 means negative 1 times negative 1. That does not mean negative 1 times 2. So for instance, 2 to the third means 2 times 2 times 2, not 2 times 3. 4 to the second means 4 times 4, not 4 times 2, okay? So this negative 1 times negative 1 actually is an exponent, so I'm doing that. And out of that, I just get positive 1, because what's negative 1 times negative 1? A positive 1. So, oops, I should have said plus negative there. So plus negative 4 plus 2 times negative 8. Now, some of you might be tempted to say, oh, let's do 1 plus negative 4, then plus 2, and then times 8. Can't do it. Got to look to multiply or divide. Do I have multiplication or division? I do have multiplication right there. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. So 1 plus negative 4 plus, you don't put down the 2 anymore because you used it in 2 times negative 8. So 1 plus negative 4 plus negative 16. Now, it doesn't matter how you add this up since we have nothing but addition left. You could do 1 plus negative 4 and then plus negative 16. I like to say that, hey, I got same signs add keep there as negative 20 plus 1, and then 1 plus negative 20 gives us our answer of negative 19 because I had more negatives than I did positive. That's a DSSL. All right, let's do number 7. Within parentheses, you also need to follow PEMDAS. So for example, in this parentheses, I have addition and I have multiplication. Well, what do I do first? Well, I know I need to do parentheses, but again, within it, I have multiplication and division. I'm going to multiply always before I add or subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's going to be really 22 plus what this was, 6 divided by 7. So I still have these parentheses, right? Because I've only done one operation out of the 2 in the parentheses. So now I'm still going to do my parentheses, which is 22 plus 6, which is 28 divided by 7. And now all I have left is division. Since I don't have any exponents, don't have any multiplication, just have division, I get 4. And look at that. That was an easy one. There were no negatives involved. I'm going to help you out with number 6 because it's a tad bit tricky. So we do have parentheses. So let's do both of these parentheses first after I write down my PEMDAS. All right, plus a negative. So this parentheses gives me negative 4. And keep it in parentheses for a second, I'll tell you why. And this parentheses gives me 15. Why am I keeping these in parentheses? Because if you notice, a parentheses next to parentheses, that means multiplication. So let's put that down. Parentheses next to parentheses means multiply. So yes, you have written that down. And then bring down your 12 divided by. Now some of you are going to say, oh, so that means I do 4 times 15 first because if multiplication comes before division. Wrong, right? We did our parentheses. There are no exponents. It's multiply or divide, whatever comes first, left to right. In this case, as I read it left to right, division comes first. So 12 divided by negative 4 gives me a negative 3. And then I'll keep my parentheses 15. And what does this mean? Oh, is my answer negative 315? No, this means to multiply. So we're going to multiply negative 3 times 15, and we get negative 45 as our answer. I could have also just ignored the negatives because I knew at this point I only had one negative, and so therefore my answer would have been negative. Careful here. Here you might have said, oh, I have 2 negatives, so my answer was be positive. Remember, the counting of negatives only works when you have nothing but multiplication and division left. So again, you've got to be on your toes. All right, that's the end of part 1.